Alright, hey everyone, Wonderbot here, and welcome back to Fade to Silence. Sorry, I was about to say Fell Seal, and I was like, wait a second, wrong thing. Okay, so the map might look a little bit different. It's because I started over. And normally I would actually have caught up fully, and I can. Actually, do we want to do that? Let's do that. Let's do some tricks. So, seeing as I'm just catching up to where I was... do we wanna? Yeah, sure, screw it. I mean, it's not like you guys are going to be missing anything new, hopefully. I'll turn it off as soon as we run into something even remotely close to new. Let's see, so I frequently will do this whenever I'm doing, like, a series, and, like, say I need to catch up, say if I lost progress, say if I lost quite a number of things, as I will go out of my way to find, you know, a trainer or anything.
Trainer activate. Cheat activated.
Let's see, so I'm just going to pop those on. I guess technically this is going to give me some extra resources, but like whatever.
Cheat activated.
Okay. But so I've got my equipment back. The only thing I haven't done is map clearing, and so I've just turned on unlimited stamina, unlimited health, and whatever. We're just going to run around and we're just going to smack things and get to where we were, so that I can properly stream. Let's see. I don't actually know if I had done this area yet. There's also this deer here. Let's just kind of do whatever.
Don't fear my frozen shroud.
Well, he's saying a blizzard's about to fall. I'm immune to blizzards, so we're just gonna go this way. Yeah, I don't know. I might as well own this, because this is a serious part of how I handle things, and I might as well just be like, yeah, this is a thing. And also, I don't know if I'd get an episode out today if I didn't actually just record it here. I've been busy with some other games, so I haven't been able to record as much Fade to Silence since it came out. Just because, like, yeah, I've been off way more than I can chew, because ultimately I do want to show off as many games as I humanly can. And sometimes that does actually lead to me overloading a lot. And so I've overloaded pretty hard lately. Which isn't too bad, but it means, like, yeah, I'm going to be using some time-saving measures, like unlimited stamina. Which is just super nice. And also screw you blizzard mode, which is also super nice. Okay, so we're looking for a deer somewhere around here. There it is. I'm assuming the deer is just uncaring. I wonder if I could hit it from here.
You're growing numb. Frostbites first, then gangrene.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, we are obviously unaffected by the cold. We are truly past the point of frozen here. This is Haxon. A blizzard means nothing to me. Eldritch goon. I am unfreezable. Okay. But yeah, so there's some other hacks that I do have access to here. Very specifically, let's head for that. I might as well wait out the blizzard. Very specifically, I do have a feature. There's some way to break out of I'm cold mode, but I don't know how to do it. It's amusing. But yeah, there's one that I could actually set it up so I have, like, infinite arrows or, like, unlimited items. I'm only going to do that if I get real bored, and that's usually when the series starts, like, crumbling on me. But this is me just playing catch-up, which, like, I don't know, I've never felt as particularly out of order. It's like, yeah, this is just something I've literally already done before. I have no firewood. There might be some over there.
White moss of death to suffocate you.
Or, never mind, the blizzard just ended. Well, that certainly makes my life easier. It means I don't have to do a thing. Ooh. Okay, let's see. So we should probably talk about why I've started over. For the first 4 episodes, I was psyching myself up that I'd stay on exploration mode. And then I was doing a little bit of research. Hello. You're not gonna shoot at me? Oh, right.
Deactivated.
Not frustratingly, I don't know, it kind of depends on your perspective. The unlimited health does actually unlimited health does actually make it so you don't take damage, but neither do your enemies, which is actually kind of dumb, but I mean, not much I can do about it. Anyway, let's see. But yeah, so I was doing some testing, and I realized that, yeah, if I have to start over, you know, worst comes to worst, I do actually have these hacks that I can just, like, roll out. I'm not sure why we couldn't target him. I guess you might not be able to lock onto an enemy without, you might not be able to lock onto an enemy without... I hear another critter. I don't see it, though. I'm gonna switch to the torch, just so I can start warming up again. Or, well... I guess I've tossed the torch. Oh. Okay, inventory is full. Let's drop off the, I'm gonna drop these. The other stuff seems way more useful for me. Tainted meat eventually. Let's see. I'm gonna go smack a tree. I actually haven't gone off to go grab Reese either. Like, I'm kind of behind. And this is why I want the hacks, so I can actually, you know, catch up without spending an inordinate amount of time to do so. It's like, I don't know. Oops. I did not mean to have this torch equipped. Well, it doesn't look like I lose any durability for hitting an enemy with a torch. Just having it out. So I guess that certainly makes it easier. Okay, then I'm gonna chop down the tree. I am uncaring about this game's mechanics right now.
Wasting your time on...
Let's see. Yeah, I don't actually like super cakewalk mode.
Power won't leave them.
It amuses me when I'm like grossly overpowered, but I prefer to earn the grossly overpowered or find like a means of doing so. Oftentimes when I'm messing around with cheat engine, for example, you know, becoming grossly OP usually is just kind of like either the last hurrah or a time-saving measure. And, you know, I find it kind of weirdly dispassionate. Just gonna grab whatever I can. But yeah, so I guess with this one, it was like, okay, well, it would suck to have to start over, but some of those boons actually are kind of nice. Very specifically, you know those, like, warming shards that we're picking up over the course of this? I'm pretty sure that every time you lose, you get to keep all those shards, and they stack with all the future ones you get. So eventually your stats become goofy. I'm not entirely sure if that's the case, but I'm assuming as such. That was a T-posed bird over there on the right. I just figured it was, like, worth a look-see to see if I could actually use that in my favor. Because somebody was saying that the enemies actually get really hard in exploration mode. Because your stats don't scale up. Unless the enemies have scaled down. So far, it seems like they're the same difficulty. The real only difference is the limited lives and the Circle of Torment situation. Which, like, it's not so bad. I guess we are actually starting to freeze. Though, it looks like it only really is an issue. It really only is an issue if you're really stuck out in that blizzard. Oh, my frost meter's maxed. I'm curious on if the infinite cold is actually broken. I wonder if it actually locks it in place.
Deactivated.
I'll try turning it off. We'll see what happens. I might have to just sit around at the fire. I don't really know what would I say? The minutia of how this works. Okay, so we want to equip that instead of the torch. Let's see, I want to set that to down. That to over. I'm gonna set my sword to up. That way I can use it whenever I need to. Okay. So let's try resting. Just for an hour. Gonna have to pop some more firewood in here. Like I said, I don't have
But
Reese
we
yet.
can't drive. There's a traffic jam from here to...
We can make it to the harbor on foot. Come on.
Okay, so that got rid of some of the cold. We should probably stoke the fire some more. I should probably go recruit people. That's the real thing. I was being lazy about it. Now that I know... It doesn't actually look like enemies start coming for my town until I actually have, until I've actually recruited people. It seems like it's in my best interest to... It seems like it's in my best interest to generally... let's grab a little bit of that firewood. That's tainted wood. Tainted wood. Do a little bit. I'm gonna wait until that cold meter goes away because... Oh, well, that's done. I just want to go until my cold meter is gone. Because listening to him just shiver forever is kind of annoying. Sup, child? I don't know how you're not freezing to death, but hey. Anywho. But yeah, so I figured if I go out and grab all the resources first, before anything triggers, we'll have lower resource demand. I realize that that's slow and kind of cheesy. Cheatsy, even? Considering my situation, but like, eh. Okay, so I'm gonna clear out that left side first. We also should probably go get the dog sled, but I wanted to do that on stream. Like, this really is just catch-up episode while we catch up. Oh, speaking of, so this is the reason, quote-unquote, why I'm even starting over. I feel like I've gotten less shards in general. Mostly warming shards, but I don't know. Anyway, so this is the Circle of Torment. So, I was actually hoping this would be more interesting. Unfortunately, I had to delete all my progress to even see this thing, which is kind of stupid. I feel like exploration characters should be able to just see this. But yeah, it turns out the Circle of Torment is not actually that exciting. It's mostly just like, you get extra lives, or you start with some firewood. Or like, sleds and kennel. You start with a sled and kennel. I don't know. So I figure, why not? Oh, right, that was the other thing. When I was playing catch-up earlier, I just turned this on ×3 speed. This game gets goofy at that speed. See, do I have... Okay. I do actually have the right weapon equipped. I haven't missed anything else here, right? Yeah. I do wish resources would respawn. I realize that that's mildly anathemic to the game design, but, like... How do I describe it? I would prefer to play this as a weird survival game, where every time you died, it would effectively, all of your people would kind of get reset, but not all of your progress would. You know, maybe your strongholds would still be there. And you'd be able to use that Circle of Torment thing. But, you know, yeah, you'd lose, like, a known amount of resources. And you'd have to go re-rescue, like, a number of people. And maybe a couple of them would stick around, especially if they're super loyal, but the rest would, like, bail and you'd have to go grab them. trying to remember, there's another game that did something like that, and I'm blanking hard. Let's see. I'm gonna head over here. We got something there. Oh, that's the tree. But yeah, I just want to clear out the map while I can. What game? I guess, actually, Dragon Quest Builders, now that I'm thinking about it. It's not the same, but in Dragon Quest Builders, every time you'd start a new chapter, everybody would just be, like, milling aimlessly, and you'd have, like, half of a town and some other associated things. I'm getting a lot of warming shards. Okay. They don't really react well to that. Amuses me greatly.
Waiting so long was my excitement. They've frozen stiff.
Oh, right, I can loot these. Summoning crystal summons your loyal wolves to your side, complete with a sled. I don't think that actually works until I have said wolves. I'm pretty sure that's the case. We had an infinite number of those in the PAX demo. But obviously I don't get them in this. Which is a bit of a shame, because it would be nice. Is there anything interesting around here? Doesn't look like it, so it's pretty much just like a smidge of resources still lurking out here. Owie. Owie.
Cheat deactivated.
I fought you before, I know how it works. But is he super susceptible to headshots? How did I do so much damage to him? I did loads. Maybe there's some kind of, like, crit threshold with the bow. I don't really know. But yes, I realize that I'm cheating to stay alive here. But I already beat that guy without dying. I think the only time I did die was...
Long before I arrived.
I'm not actually sure what had killed me that one time in exploration mode. Not that I'm going to replicate the death. I'm going to give myself mild advantages here because, yeah, I did start over for the sake of seeing everything. It's such a bad mentality of mine. But I will... Recently, I'm addicted to game mechanics, I think, would be the description I would give. I'm more interested in seeing everything that a game has to offer, in a lot of cases, than I am in even, like, playing it right. If that makes sense. You know, I'm more interested in... I'm more interested in seeing, say, how the Circle of Torment works than actually, you know, using it or being affected by it. I'm more interested in, you know, trying out interesting build combinations than actually winning a game. Oh, I guess I didn't harvest the tree from that area. I'm trying to think of other, like, easy examples. I think a lot of it stems from the fact that, you know, I play so many games at this point that some of them are starting to become, yeah, a little little repetitive. God, I need more inventory space. Now, I hear something as part of this. But it might actually just be this. Oh. Is there no entrance to this one? No, there is. That was weird. It looks like there was no entrance initially, and I'm not sure why. Okay, so I realize I've dropped off some tainted wood here. I'll come back for it at a later date. Okay. But we've finished off this side, which is good. So I guess next order of business, let's go back. I can grab one of those tainted woods, I believe. Yeah. Actually, I can just pop this and I can grab both. Okay, there we go. And that'll get rid of the smidge of max HP reduction. I realize it's wasteful, but like, I used, I think, several of those fairly wastefully when I first played this, so it's semi-fair. I don't know. But yeah, I think part of the reason why I'm so interested in seeing and experiencing new game mechanics is it makes it easier for me to talk about games, because the wider range of experiences I have, and I think that's actually part of it for me as well, the wider the range of experiences that I pick up, the more I can kind of comment on them. Instead of saying, like, I don't like this mechanic, I can easily say, like, hey, here's another game that does this mechanic, but better, and this is why. And, like, I can pick it apart. Because I think originally when I started playing games, I was just like, this doesn't feel good, you know, the exploration doesn't feel good. Now I can say, like, this does exploration similarly to Hollow Knight, but because it's constantly forcing you to go ever forwards, it loses something of that actual exploration feel, and mostly feels like just flailing in the dark. Specifically, that's, I guess, Dark Devotion, which is another series that I've got going on right now. And, like, it does it well, but it also is less interesting as a result. Whereas, conversely, the exploration in this game, I would say is kind of like half and half. I wish I spent less time traversing the world, and I think a lot of that will be abated once I have the dog sled, which will be nice. But you spend a lot of time just aimlessly meandering the world, grabbing resources, and then coming back. And most of the locations have felt so far self-same. Say what you want about Fallout 4's exploration, but every location at least felt somewhat distinct. But then again, I almost never went inside buildings. I was very much like, grab and go, because buildings you could get trapped, and that could be a bit of an issue on, like, Frost, for example. Though I did start going into buildings a lot. The interiors in Fallout were boring. The exteriors always felt kind of nice and interesting and unique, especially on the harder difficulty challenges, especially out in the country.
I bet there are other people out there.
And so, like, I wonder if this actually would feel much better exploration-wise if it was filled with a bunch of mini-dungeons. I guess another easy comparison would actually be Ashen, which had a fair bit of open-world exploration, but also had quite a substantial amount of, you know, more focused gameplay. I'm gonna put the torches away. I'm sure they're helpful, but I don't know. You know, you'd wander around, you might have some objectives out in the world, some side quests or whatever, some interesting mini-bosses or something like that. And then every once in a while you'd come across a cave, and you could go inside said cave, and it always felt really good. Because, like, suddenly it was a change of pace. The whole game was hand-designed. God, if you could mix this and Ashen, that'd be fantastic as well. I really liked Ashen. I thought that was cool. I was just disappointed by the town building aspect to it. Because it more or less just, like, the town grew as you played through the game, which was nice, but also, like, lacked impact. It was like, I have no control over how this town is growing. But it was a nice feeling of progression all the same. Conversely, this game gives you the reins. You know, it gives you the reins for how your town is built, and I actually rather like that.
They stand strong against your mighty fists.
I'm just gonna go back and turn this in, seeing as we're right here. But, like, I don't know, I'd love to play a game like this, very similar to this. Maybe more concerted, more focused combat. Higher quality combat at the very least. You know, I bring up Ashen because I really liked the combat in that game. And so, like, you start with a bonfire in the center of nowhere. And you have to go out, chop down some trees, you know, get kind of what you need to make a hut. And then, you know, you more or less make, like, a very basic crafting village, whatever your, like, immediate resources that you need to get you as a player off the ground. And maybe it's multiplayer, maybe it's not. I always prefer multiplayer if it's well handled, but it doesn't necessarily need to be. And then, you know, you have this, like, big, let's call it Breath of the Wild style world to explore. And every once in a while, one of them will, like, you know, every once in a while, one of them, as you explore, you'll run across, like, a dungeon. And inside the dungeon, you'll find something. Be it, you know, a recruit, a blueprint. These guys are weirdly accurate. I do not like it. You can't catch me. Oh, you may try. Okay. But yeah, so every once in a while you run across a dungeon. You know, maybe it has puzzles in it, maybe it has enemies, creatures, or it's like a mine, or any number of things. And each one, like, kind of aids in your survival, but also the progression of your town. You're not just getting enough food to live. I think that was something I always had trouble with on a lot of survival games, is that, like, the progression was kind of light. You know, once you got your, like, basic couple of resource trees, that was it. You're done. And then it's just a matter of, like, sustaining yourself long enough to maybe explore a little. Or stuff like Subnautica, where the actual survival element very quickly goes out of the window. If only because your tools have gotten better. I guess I don't mind that too much. Whereas, like, I think I've always kind of appreciated RimWorld's level of scaling. Like, it gets ridiculous towards the end. Especially if you've got the right, like, mod setup. And I found that insanely compelling. Yeah. Still hoping for the day where I get a first-person RimWorld type game. Whoops. Bye.
So easily persuaded. Weak-willed souls now worship me.
Man, it actually takes a while to, like, fill everything out in this game. Isn't this supposed to be where Reese is? Ah. He's not there. not currently? Because this is where he was uh-oh. Well, I don't actually need him yet. Slash at all. I guess I'm just gonna grab that, and we'll just come back later? Maybe we'll find him in a different location. Be curious about falling damage in this game. I'm assuming it is deadly. I shouldn't be doing this, but all I have to do is find, like, this level of a rocky outcropping, and we should be safe to descend. Oh, especially because there's a shard right here. Exploration ho. Okay, so falling damage does hurt quite a fair bit. Not really a big deal if I'm cheatsing, but pretty soon I'm not going to be cheatsing. I don't know if it's full-on junk storm or if it's just like a couple of one-off bits. I guess I can bust this one up. So we didn't find Reese. I wonder if I took too long. I don't know. I'm kind of going at this with the expectation of I'm probably going to die here. But I would very much like to get my hands on, I'd very much like to get my hands on as many shards as possible. Because, yeah, if they stack and we just get, like, boatloads of shards... and have, like, silly stats... like, that should be fun. I don't know. I'll have to see if there's, like, any way of artificially getting more. Like, if you can start making them or something. Because that'd be real nice. If I could just, like, use the first run and then do whatever, and then the second run I just become, like, Captain Ridiculous and just, like, punch my way through things. I don't know. I really like being Captain Ridiculous in RPGs. It is just satisfying. Oh well. Anyway, my inventory is full, and honestly, this episode's actually gone on long enough. Let's get over here and just drop things off. I might just start as normal. You know, just start streaming from this point onwards. Obviously, I'm back a little bit, but I'm not too far away. We'll see. But this is probably going to be the last time I use, like, speed sheets or anything like that. With the exception of, if I do lose, there's a very real possibility I will probably super speed hacks my way up to approximately where I was for the next round, if only because, like, I don't think you guys want to see this, like, really slow intro bit any more than I do. More than, like, twice. I mean, you've already had to see a little bit of extra overlap here, and I can't imagine what it would be like if I lose, like, 2 or 3 times. That would be miserable. Anyway, see you guys next time. And as always, thanks for burgers. Burgers.